Russia lost the war in Ukraine. Girkin is in panic. This is what we're going to talk about today. Hi, I'm Elena. This is my political channel Enough of Propaganda. And you can know more about me if you watched my videos already, or if you could go to the playlist about me. So I'll talk more about Girkin Strelkov. Russian FSB officer, ex-FSB officer, Girkin, aka Strelkov. You know him through my videos already, and maybe through some other videos. He's the guy who started the war in Ukraine in 2014, who was Russian FSB officer sent by Russia, and he claims, and rightly so, that he started the war in Ukraine. He fired the first shots. He was the one who was attacking Crimea. His descent and him was taking over the parliament of Crimea and so on, as you also could see in my videos about Crimea 2014. What he's saying about today. This is a channel of Alexei Gончаренко, the very bright Ukrainian gentleman and politician.
Бросая их раз за разом, день за днем, неделями и месяцами на одни и те же укрепленные позиции противника, причем недостаточными силами для их взятия.
He is whining that Russia is throwing more and more soldiers into the attacks. He means Bakhmut and Donbass and so on. He's panicking. He's saying that Russia is losing the war, and most likely Russia would be broken into pieces, predicting the war in Caucasus in Russia, which is, it can happen, theoretically speaking, and most likely it will, because Russian aggression in Chechnya and the wars Russia had there for decades, several wars in Chechnya, it just like the fire is still there. I agree with Strelkov on that. Even he is a war criminal. Sometimes he is saying the right things, correct things. I mean, it's not right things, it's correct things. Yeah, the court in Hague charged him with a crime down in the Boeing MH17, Kuala Lumpur. So he is the war criminal, hiding in Russia and criticizing the Russian government, which is in many ways correctly criticizing. But again, if he would have been so smart, why would he start the war in Ukraine in the first place? He's only complaining that Russia not killing enough, Russia not doing enough. Russian military officers in command right now in the war in Ukraine are stupid. And that is true. I'll show you the facts a little bit later about that. But what I disagree with him, besides that he is a war criminal, should be in international court and should be in jail, that he shouldn't have started the war in Ukraine in the first place. Ukraine is an independent country, and he has no place to be there. Not then, in 2014, not now. Yes, Russia is losing the war. But the idea that some commander, basically he is saying, put me in command, put me in charge. We already seen him in charge. If you watched my video about Bucha massacre and what happened in Slavyansk in 2014, you will see what he does when he is in charge. He personally, and there were facts and proofs of that, was found the documents signed by him. I showed it to you in my videos. When he signed death warrants to his own people, because one of them climbed in somebody's house and stole t-shirt and pants there. Girkin Strelkov signed the death warrant and claiming that according to the order of Stalin from 1941, that little weasel, Strelkov, Girkin, his real name and Strelkov is his pseudonym, he decided that he has rights to shoot people, to execute people, and he did execute people. Vice News was reporting on it, how in Slavyansk in 2014 they was digging bodies out of mass grave in downtown Slavyansk. Right now, Slavyansk was liberated by Ukrainians at the time, and it's not on the part of so-called Donetsk or Lugansk People's Republic. So Bucha was no surprise, because before Bucha was, for example, Slaviansk, was Chechnya, was atrocities of Russian army, even Soviet army in Afghanistan, Russian army in Syria, and so on. And Girkin Strelkov is not just war criminal because he given order to shoot at MH17 passenger plane, because they thought it's Ukrainian plane. It's because he did a lot of other things. Besides starting the war in Ukraine, he was executing people. That little weasel claimed himself to be a Napoleon or Stalin or something, I don't know who he thinks he is. Every little piece of garbage thinking he is somebody. So he was killing people, executing people by his will, just because he decided it's time to make a rules of his own somewhere, to threaten people to obey his orders. And that's what Prigozhin does with criminals. Like, how else he keeping them in line? That's why that sledgehammer is in place. It's handy because it helps to keep criminals in line. It helps to threaten people. So Strelkov was executing people. So good one. That's who should be in power. Meanwhile, it doesn't matter who is in power. Russia will not win this war. Period. It doesn't have troops. It doesn't have somebody to train the troops. Troops they maybe have, but I mean they don't have trained troops. They have pizza delivery boys and accountants who nobody to train because the most elite Russian forces was killed in the first months of the war. They don't have enough weapons. They don't have enough ammunition. They don't have enough anything. They're going begging Iran for drones and so on, and North Korea. So it's not about who's in power, it's about the war is wrong. It shouldn't be. And Strelkov was the one who started it. And he said lots of other things. He is claiming that protest movements on Caucasus will go on. Yes, they will be. Because they didn't solve the problem. Chechnya wanted to be independent. Excuse me. It was squashed. And those, I agree, those embers still hot. The fire they didn't put down the fire in any way. And the genocide which Russia doing to small nations and nationalities and to the every other part of Russia beside Moscow, St. Petersburg and a few million people cities, it's not gonna go unnoticed. Some villages, all the men wiped out from Siberia, from Dagestan, and from Caucasus. Of course, they see their people dying and Moscow people living like nothing happened, like there is no war. Because corpses not coming there by piles. They coming to Caucasus. Beside that, Kadyrov ruling it with the kidnapping of people, torturing people, murdering people. It's not gonna last long. So, also Strelkov saying that China might attack Russia. And it might.
Это при том, что я, естественно, являюсь категорическим противником передачи любого метра суши или моря, или воды, или воздуха российской территории кому бы то ни было.
Нравится, не нравится.
This is the channel of Mr. Цимбалюк. But we're talking about Girkin Strelkov in here, and basically he's saying that he's against giving any piece of Russian territory or Russian air or Russian water to anybody. Well, go talk to Putin then. He just give 2 islands to China, as I told you in the previous videos. Didn't ask Russians, he just gave it to China in the past. And now Strelkov saying that China might go and grab a piece of Russia. I mentioned it myself, yes they can, but I don't think they would. Why? It's because we're living in a modern day world. Even Russia and China still living in the past quite a bit. I don't think China is stupid enough to grab big chunks of Russian territory. What they gonna do with it? Every new territory, it's expenses. You have to develop it, you have to look after it, you have to pay pensions, you have to do a whole bunch of other things. Why do that if China is already in Russia? Chinese people living in my home city, Volgograd, They living in many other places, they trading, they going back and forth. Meanwhile, Russia is taking all the expenses and China just using it. So why would they want? But they can. Instead of grabbing Taiwan, they could just go and grab a piece of Russia, and Russia have nothing to do. They can't do anything. They don't have enough army. Besides nukes, they don't have anything. So worry about that Putin will use nukes? I still don't worry about it. Because Putin values his life too much. And Russian economy going down. Ruble, they can't keep it up. It's falling. And big time. As I predicted long ago that it's gonna happen. There is no point to predict it. Like, they don't do anything for Russian economy. Nothing. And now with the war, it's expensive thing. The war is expensive. Nothing gonna happen. So Strelkov made a few good points about that Russia losing the war, about that China could walk in and grab a piece of Russia as much as they can. I don't think they would do it, but they can. And Putin already gave away Russian territories in the past, or so-called Russian territories. And there is no point to deal with either Donbass or Crimea. They are territory of Ukraine. Russia is lost. Girkin Strelkov is in panic. And this is what happens in Russia. This is a Warthog Defense channel. This is what Russian people, Russian MOBIKS or mobilized people, I don't call them MOBIKS, I don't like it, but this is what they find in their trenches.
And Russian soldiers are sent to finish digging trenches at the front lines. They were terrified to find out that the previous batch of recruits, those that begun to dig those trenches and whom they were supposed to be rotating with, have died. And some had been buried right on the position under their feet.
Вот, пожалуйста, позиции выдали нам. Короче, у меня таланы, кто знает, обувь такая. У меня траншея вот эта, у меня таланы были выпущены, которые нам выдали. Но это все фигня, мало того, что, короче, когда мы начали это все откапывать, ну вот, короче, чтобы вы понимали, откопали 200, вырыли.
So basically, Russian soldiers who came to the front find out that their trenches very shallow. They decided to dig it deeper, and that's what they find. That they just put the bodies in the trench, put a little bit dirt on top, and of course trench getting shallower and shallower because that's where they bury their bodies. And this is one of my videos. Look what Russian Nazis are fighting in Ukraine. This is who Ukrainians are dealing with. Second neo-Nazi group in Russia. And this is its leader, Alexei Melchikov. Listen what he has to say.
Я прям говорю, я нацист.
I am telling you straightforward, I'm a Nazi.
Можно руку вскинуть.
I can even lift my hand in the salute. This is again Alexei Gончаренко, he is in Izum. Look at this. This is the destroyed by Russians building in Izum, and that's who Russians are fighting. Let's see who Russians are fighting. What Ukrainians they fighting.
The building, residential house, big residential building. This is the second part. And in between, there was the third part, the middle of this building, which is now destroyed by Russian air bomb. Just watch it this. So I'm staying on the 5th floor. This is another part. This is destroyed. Just watch here. These are books, shelves. Just watch here, small TV, a sewing machine, just the steps.
So this is how Ukrainians live. And Russians saying they fighting Ukrainian Nazis, they fighting Ukrainian people. Russian-speaking people, watch this.
This book. This is Sergei Yesenin, famous Russian poet.
Yes, it is written in Russian. It is in Russian. It said Sergei Yesenin.
And what Russia did with these people who were sitting here in their apartment, just imagine. Normal life, computer, they were reading poems of Sergei Yesenin. And then Russia came and destroyed all of this. And what I want to show you, probably the most impressive, is this piano. This piano is staying just over, you see, just over this destroyed part of the building. And it's still here. Piano, culture. And you know the name of this piano? The name of this piano is Ukraine.
It's not just Ukraine, it's written in Russian. This piano was made in USSR. It said Ukraine.
Piano Ukraine. Ukraine is standing. Ukraine is not destroyed. And that is very symbolic. And here, this is Bible.
So this is who Russians sent to kill. Russian-speaking Ukrainians, Christian Ukrainians, which they deny them to be, and they dare to. Next week it would be Orthodox Easter. This week is our Easter, and happy Easter, by the way. So, and they claim they being Christians. They claim that they believe in God or whatever they claim to be. None of them are. Whoever doing this to Ukraine, they are not Christians. They don't care about God or anybody. They are fascists who killing Ukrainians in their own country. And a little bit on the bright side, this is Bavaria. The piano player played Another Love in that bombed city of Izum. That's the same piano in the same city of Izum. It's Kharkov region. And you can listen to it a little bit. You can listen to this music. I can give it to you in the comments. Ukraine is alive. Ukraine is fighting, and they will fight Nazis who came there to destroy Ukraine. They defending their country, and every normal Russian and every normal person would support Ukraine and stop Russian fascism, stop Putin, and stop all of this by helping Ukraine to win this war, because they can't just stop and walk away. Putin can stop the war at any moment, take his troops home, and leave Ukraine alone. All parts of Ukraine. Ukraine cannot do that. If Ukraine will stop, there would be no Ukraine. If Putin will stop, there would be no war. Nobody attacked Russia. Nobody did anything bad to Russia. There is absolutely no reason to have this war. It's only Putin's will and people who kind of like that. Tatarsky recently was big deal in St. Petersburg, blow up that military blogger by his own statue and stuff like that. I don't support terrorism at all. I think it's wrong. He should have been charged in court and put in jail. And Putin should be in court and in jail. But the point is, it's not Ukrainians who did it, most likely. I don't believe that the country who fighting the war like this would have time and effort and money to put into eliminating some obscure blogger, ex-criminal, who was in jail for robbery. When his business failed, he decided to put the stocking on the face and go rob the bank, and then he ended up in jail. And then I showed him in one of my videos to you, when he was saying, and Putin was proclaiming annexing more territories from Ukraine. Tatarsky was saying that we're gonna rob everybody, we're gonna kill everybody, we're gonna rape everybody, do whatever we like. No, they won't. Ukraine will stop them, and we will help Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.